Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcome back, my guy. He is the president of the Greater Houston Frontiers Club. Ladies and gentlemen, Donnell Cooper is on the program. What's up, man?
Good morning, sir. How you doing, man? Happy New Year to you. I hadn't seen you. Well, I see you every day, but hadn't seen you in person in a while.
I hadn't seen you in a while either. How was the holidays? Everything was
Holiday
good?
was good. Blessed to see another year.
Yes, indeed. Another year and another Memorial Scholarship Breakfast.
Another breakfast, man. It's our 32nd annual. So delighted to share with the city, to come out to celebrate on the largest celebration on King's Day.
Yeah.
We're right before the historical Martin Luther King Parade.
Yeah.
And big changes this year. We'll be moving over to the Hilton Americas right next door.
Oh.
And so, again, we've been at Sylvester Brown for the last few years, but we're going to step it up a little bit and move back over to the hotel.
Okay.
So the Hilton is happy to have us back. We've been a part of the Hilton family for a while. So, January 20th, 8 o'clock sharp.
That's 8 a.m., folks.
8 a.m. Sharp. We'll be kicking off our 32nd annual Dr. Martin Luther King Scholarship Breakfast.
32 years. What does that feel like?
Wow, man, I could only say that I've been a part of it the last 9 years. But man, just to say 32nd is a milestone
within itself.
And you just think about all the lives that we've touched through the scholarship initiative has been the most greatest aspect of it.
Yeah, such rich history of the Greater Houston Frontiers Club, but all of the people that live that keep moving here may not even be familiar. Just give us the brief history of it. Formerly known as
North Houston Frontiers. Used to be, way back, used to be 3 chapters of the historic organization. And upon my leadership, I thought it was time for a change and go into one unified name. Yeah. And so now we are formally known as the Greater Houston Frontiers Club. And we are a national known service organization, and our platform is scholarships. And we provide scholarships to local students in Harris County, whether they be a junior college or a 4-year institution. And so for the last 9 years, we've been providing roughly about $30,000, so blessing about 30 students. We're stepping out on faith this year, and we want to step that up to 50 students this year. And so
more names for me to read at the scholarship.
Yes, so get ready. Get ready. We might have to come up with another unique way. Maybe some nicknames in there this year.
No, I enjoy that. That is one of my highlights of the year when you all asked me to MC the Greater Houston Frontiers Club, the scholarship reception when you all give out the scholarship. So
definitely,
I love that. That's
definitely. So really excited about this year, and just to see us making that milestone, going from 30 to 50. That's a blessing, because again, we turn away so many students. Over 200 students apply for the scholarship every year. So just to go through that elimination process, again, it's based on funding, but again, we have been blessed, and we just want to make sure that we sow that seed back into the community.
No doubt. You're listening to Access Houston, talking to the president of the Greater Houston Frontiers Club, Donnell Cooper. The 32nd Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Scholarship Breakfast is happening on Monday, January 20th, MLK Day, 8 a.m. sharp. New location alert.
No location.
We at the Hilton Americas, Houston Hotel, downtown. Who are the honorees for this
year? This year,
got on the program?
Our guest speaker will be Dr. George Frazier. Very, very known philanthropist, throughout the country. Our drum major this year, our drum major for civil rights, is going to be Dr. Joseph Gath. And then our honorary chair is going to be General Manager of Fox 26, Mr. D'Artagnan Barbell. Yeah. So got a good platform there. Looking forward to it. And again, we're just excited. So, again, we want to encourage everyone to go out. And people might say, well, how are you going to jump from 30 scholarships to 50 scholarships? So, do want to let everyone know that we have made a small increase in our ticket sales. So, tickets have gone from $50 to $60 this year. So, that's going to help with a huge opportunity for us to bless more people.
I just realized that Dr. Joseph Gath, the Houston infectious disease specialist, receiving that drum major award.
Very fitting.
Yeah,
very fitting. He's touched a lot of lives here in the city.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
one of the first doctors I went to when I came here, and then he was like, "Well, I'm an infectious disease specialist. Like, you need a PCP,
right?
Like, because I was just looking for a black doctor.
Okay.
And he was
a
little
bit out of your category.
Gave me to put me in the right direction. So this is amazing.
Yes.
So in terms of the funding for getting the scholarship,
yes.
I mean, of course we depend on things like the breakfast. Where can they go to get tickets and information?
You can go to GHFrontiers.com. And again, everything is on the website, corporate tables, individual tickets, all the information is there on our website. Again, GHFrontiers.com. Again, all of our proceeds, everything that we do throughout the fiscal year goes back to this scholarship initiative. So we also have a annual golf tournament. This will be our 28th year with the golf tournament. So that's a huge help as well. That goes, again, proceeds going back to the scholarship initiative.
I love it, man. I don't think I've ever asked you, how did you become involved?
It's an interesting story. I used to be a director at the Boy Scouts of America, and my mentor was one of our national directors for the Boy Scout, but he also was a past member of the Frontiers. And by this being a national minority organization, when he was the assistant vice president here at the Boy Scouts, he made every minority director at the Boy Scouts be a member of the Frontiers. And so he had left Houston and went on to our national office in Dallas, and he said, hey, I want you to continue the tradition. So he invited me one year to breakfast, and the next month in February, I was at my first meeting. And within the first year, they asked me to be president, and the story continues. So it's been he's just been again. His name is Mr. Willie Isles. Again, a very, very well-known person here in the Houston area.
So you were a member as a teen or adolescent.
Yes.
And now a full, whole grown man.
Exactly.
The president.
Going into my my 9th year as president, and it's been a journey.
So you've been a part of the program for
a while.
Over 20 years.
Yes, for a good little while.
Wow.
For a little while. So, it gives me an opportunity to touch so many lives throughout the city, every day, like yourself, building partnerships, touching youth, building pillars within the community. So it gives me a joy. Again, volunteering. But again, it's a joy to be a leader of this organization.
Well, the best gift is giving, and you get back what you put out.
Exactly.
And I know that the blessings are abundant when it comes to you and all of the work that you do in the community. I mean, thank you for those kind words that you said about me, but for me, it's not about me.
It's definitely not about me.
It's not about me.
It's all about the cause.
This platform is for
all about the cause.
Houston.
All about the cause.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
So listen, save the date, MLK morning. It's a day on. It's not a day off. I know you'll be off of work.
Exactly.
Y'all will be out of school.
I'm out in fellowship with us.
You still should serve and fellowship with us. So save that date on Monday, January 20th, 8 a.m. at the Hilton Americas Houston Hotel downtown for the 32nd annual Greater Houston Frontiers Club Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Scholarship Breakfast, where the theme is challenging the present to live the dream.
That's right. Right. Yes. It's all about, we're doing all in honor of our civil rights leader. I think he would be so proud of what we've been doing over the last 32 years. Dr. King has laid a platform for us to follow. And, it's just about all of us being on board.
You know what I find the most fascinating about this time of the year, especially around MLK Day, is how the other folks, they hold him up and he is revered and he is, memorialized and honored as if they always felt that way about him.
Amazing, isn't it?
Okay. I mean, the only reason why you want him, you love him so much now is because he can't talk. He's dead.
Exactly.
He don't have nothing to say.
Exactly.
But, as the older I've gotten and the more that I've learned about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was an incredible man, but he also talked that talk.
He did.
And I thought that it was interesting that the very next day after he gave an amazing sermon speech, whatever you want to say, telling us black folk, let's rally together to have our own, to get our own stuff.
Right.
The next day he's shot and killed.
Assassinated, yes. So that lets you know it's a powerful message.
Come on.
It's a powerful message.
Already.
And so, we're just honored to say that we are hosting one of the largest events to kick off Historical Day in the 4th largest city, in the country. And, all of the dignitaries, Congresswoman, our returning Mayor Turner, everybody kicks off their day before they fellowship with the parade. So we're just honored and, again, just so excited to celebrate. I can't say enough and express enough that we want to encourage all of our high school seniors that are in Harris County. And I always tell people, find out where you live before you eliminate yourself. Some people say, well, I'm in Fort Bend, I'm in Sugar Land. Some people are still in Harris County. So make sure that you locate where you are, your school-wise, before you decide to apply. But please, go out and apply. The application is already live. It'll be out there until March the 15th.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to serve as many as we can.
We appreciate it. So we'll see you Monday, MLK morning, 8 a.m. at the Hilton Americas Houston Hotel for the Greater Houston Frontiers Club 32nd Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Scholarship Breakfast. Donnell, it's always good to see you,
Always
man.
good to see you as well.
You know, I'll see you down at the breakfast.
I'll see you down at the breakfast as well, and looking forward to seeing the Magic family.
Indeed.
Yes.
So I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston. Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcoming back on the program. It's that time of year again, and we've seen him for the last 4 or 5 years on Access Houston. He is the president, the founder, executive director of the Black Heritage Society. My man, Mr. Sylvester Brown. How you doing, man?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Man, good to see you.
Yeah.
Let's get that right. There we go. Had to fix some things real quick. Man, Happy New Year to you.
Well, same to you, man. Same to you and your family.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. How things been so far?
Things been good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
We're so blessed to be here into the new year.
Yes, indeed.
You know, so we're excited and looking forward to what we do.
What we do, and what you are doing is welcoming what I consider to be one of the most elaborate MLK parades that I've been a part of and seen. I mean, the way that you all go all out on the floats and everything, and this is the 42nd annual original MLK Jr. Parade and Holiday Festival. 42 years.
Yes. And I sort of I slid you over a news clipping of the very first. You know, we're called original not just because we decided we'll call ourselves original,
right?
But we're original because we're the first in the entire nation to hold a parade in honor of the death of and the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King back in January of 21st of 1978. That's 5 years before the legislation was passed. Legislation was not passed until by Ronald Reagan until 1983, and not put into effect the national holiday until 1986. Okay, right. So we were 5 years ahead, and that's why we are the original, the first in the nation. Who knows that we're not done the first parade? Might not be doing parades.
Wow.
Okay, but again, Daddy King, Dr. King's father, was came down and commissioned Mr. Ovi Duncan Taylor, of course, a founder who passed away a couple of years ago, activist, civil rights activist, and what have you. And, of course, Daddy King would be the one to cut the ribbon on South Park Boulevard, where they renamed the street on that same day. Martin Luther King Boulevard. Okay, so of course, if you look at the news clipping, which was by 4 times, C-Boy Vaughn.
C-Boy Vaughn,
staff writer. He's the one that wrote the story and what have you. But more importantly, just as important, brother, we have the entire parade on film, on video. Okay, Mr. Beeson was the one that videoed that parade, but. We've been going strong ever since. 42 consecutive years. This would be,
That's
rain,
amazing.
shine, sleet, or snow.
You do it, and to know that you all, had this to honor this man before all of the other pomp and circumstance that we now do for the great
right
Reverend
here
Dr.
in Houston,
Martin.
Texas.
Right here in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Just skimming through this original article of cutting the ribbon on MLK Boulevard. This is fascinating. I'll read just a little bit from C-Boy Vaughn, the staff writer. He writes, despite the 20-degree weather, over 25,000 were brave enough to combat the elements to stand along the route of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard for the grand ceremony of the naming of the new street. Only 2 bands, Sterling and Jones High, provided the music, but the youngster seemed very excited over the event. Leading the processional was that of Reverend Martin Luther King Sr., who had arrived from his home in Atlanta, Georgia. Most of the VIPs were enclosed cars with windows drops, but from time to time, one could see scattered about the parade, several queens atop cars, trucks, and floats. Oh, wow, I'm going to read the right. Oh, wait. Oh, what is this I see? Houston is a great town with a lot of good people, and I like coming here because of the warm personality and the kind of folks that live here, is what Reverend King Sr. said about the city of H-Town. Wow, this is
Yeah, I thought you would like that.
Yeah.
And I made it a point. I was almost late here getting to the interview because I say, let me get this to KG.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you have some here, the foundation
the
on.
reverence from, hey, this is amazing. Such rich history in the city of Houston, the state of Texas, period. And for you all to have the blessing and the ribbon cutting ceremony and just and all of the history from the Black Heritage Society, and to know that Dr. King Sr. Signed this off and was really here, that lets you know that you're called the original for a reason.
Yeah, and as I said, he commissioned it back January 21st, 1978. And, of course, as I said, since that time, we've conducted a parade, rain, shine, sleet, or snow. And I want to make sure that I include my thanks to not only Mr. Duncantel, but all of the other members of the community who was so instrumental, in supporting that event, January 21st, 1978, at 20 degrees weather.
20-degree weather.
So I'm just excited that we're moving on. I want to give Mayor Sylvester Turner his props because he's been courageous, and doing what he could do to make sure that this city here represents a pleasant symbol of the service of Dr. King, our appreciation of his life and legacy. And, of course, this year we're off to a most fantastic parade that we're going to have. We're going to line the streets with beautiful floats from the various communities from the city of Houston.
Folks are dynamic for all of my new people that have just moved to Houston.
Yes. In addition to that, we're going to line the streets with beautiful marching bands. And when I say beautiful marching bands, we have an array of bands that's going to be out basically in the parade. And I just kind of want to throw this in also. We have the mayor for the first year last year, the inaugural drum major award to the best band that was they judged on performance and style, and musicality. And last year, Royal High School out of Brookshire, they walked away with it. So I'm anxious to see who's going to walk away. Who's going to walk away with it this year? But again, I want to make sure that we recognize our sponsors who's been so dedicated to supporting our organization, the HEB. So you look out, you'll see that big grocery basket.
That's right.
That'll be HEB, and then we've got Citgo, who has been dedicated for some time into supporting this annual parade that acknowledge the life and legacy of Dr. King. McDonald's, United Airlines, and most important. Radio One, which is Urban One. Okay,
yes, I
mean, as a matter of fact, you can't go out of all the parks we have, the public parks we have. There's one park that you can go to where you can see Urban One brand. You see in Stone. You see Magic 102, 97.9 The Box. And Radio Now. Now, it says Boom 92.1, but it was Boom then at the time that we created the partnership and relationship. And I'm just so happy that that Radio One has chosen to service that agreement that we've had. It has really, really, really pushed the community forward to really getting a good understanding and becoming more knowledgeable about who we are as the original MLK Parade. So, as I said, we're excited about it. The parade starts at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Oh, January 20 this year.
And the route is the same?
Right. The route is the same as last year. And, of course, we ask everybody that's participants to be there at 8:30 because last year we had 172 entries, which is huge. And this year we're hoping to have, we're not so excited about having so many, but we want to make sure that we really kind of centered around our theme. And our theme this year is come from Dr. King's quotes. I decided to stick to love. Hate is too much greater burden to bear. Okay, so we want to make sure that when those participants comes out, there's a sign somewhere on their vehicles or whatever that recognizes love. Okay, and that's what this parade is about. That's what our organization is about. That's what the city of Houston is about, and that's what our community is about. Mm-hmm. So we're excited, and as I said, there's going to be plenty of fun and entertainment after the parade because we do the Martin Luther King Taste of Houston. Yep. That's going to take place adjacent to City Hall, mm-hmm. which is Sam Houston Park. We encourage vendors. There'll be entertainment. There'll be fun, food, and games for the entire
What's the deadline
family.
for the vendors?
The deadline for the vendors is the 15th.
The 15th.
Yeah, the deadline for the vendors.
So vendors, you got till Wednesday to get those applications in and get approved.
Absolutely. But again, we're excited. We look forward to this every third Monday in January, which we celebrate the holiday. Mm-hmm. And again, I have to give a big shout out to the mayor of the city of Houston. Yeah, and,
so glad he put that foot down. Said, he said, look, you got to pick a side, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
We gonna go with this. We gonna go with that. I remember I was at that. He did that at the Greater Houston at the MLK breakfast.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
2 years ago, I remember sitting there and I was like. I applauded that because I was like, it's about time. Two separate parades celebrating the same man that's literally like down from each other. This isn't what he would want. Right. And then the more I got acclimated in the city and saw what was real and what wasn't, I was like, okay, these folks are the real deal. Original is the real deal. These other guys, they are about the money grab. They trying to get the money. So I'm glad that the mayor did that. I'm glad that the city is behind this one, as it should be, the original. I mean, when you have the approval of the estate of Dr. King, I mean, what more? What more do you have to prove? Yeah. So we'll see you all on Monday the 20th. 10 a.m. But you say get there about 8:30?
Well, the participants should be there about 8:30.
Okay, the participants.
Okay, because it takes some time. We don't want them to get locked out of the perimeters of the parade. They lock the streets down at a certain time.
Right.
Okay, and we want to make sure that if you're a participant, you don't have a problem getting into accessing the parade. Okay, and the best way to do that is be there at 8:30. Okay, have your whatever you have in the parade. Of course, we're going to be issuing out registration, which would include the decals that you'll have to have on your vehicle to be in the parade. And we want, for all of those who've registered, we want to make sure that they enter and they can participate. Now, one other thing that I want to say, when you go to our website, which is www.blackheritagesociety.org, and you go to the directory that says more, M-O-R-E, and you click on to that directory, it would give you an itemized content listing of the various things that we do.
I see it. Volunteer,
all the
founder,
projects, everything.
MLK Parade Festival,
absolutely.
Drum Major Award Competition. I see it all. Yes.
But let me tell you the highlight of this
route.
parade. Let me tell you the highlight.
What is it? Yeah, it's always something every year. Y'all got something.
Well, our Grand Marshal this year is going to be historical.
Who we got?
George Foreman is going to be our Grand Marshal this year. Okay, nice. So we can talk about, some of the other Grand Marshals. Of course, last year we had John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, civil rights icon, and George Springer, the MVP, past World Series MVP. But Houstonians. With the Houstonian George Foreman is going to be our Grand Marshal this year, and of course George is world renowned, world known.
Yes, indeed.
And we just
for
so
his
excited.
boxing and his grills.
Yeah, and so we're just excited that he has accepted the invitation to be our Grand Marshal this year. Again, I want to thank the mayor of the city of Houston, Sylvester Turner, and his staff for the outstanding work that he does, and I also want to thank our staff, Medley Incorporated. Which is
Ashley Small.
What's
up, Ashley?
I promotions and marketing, and Ivy Accor, who is one of my top administrator that has been with me for some time now, and she's mostly responsible for getting things right. Okay.
You always need one of them
when I fall off. Okay.
Yeah. So,
we're just so excited. I want to thank our board directors.
Okay.
Mrs. Helen Johnson, secretary, and our vice president, Ms. Teresa Brewer, and our president, Mr. Will Vital. Okay. As I said, they're so instrumental. They make all of the major moves. And I sit back and just make sure that I orchestrate those moves.
That you do it
okay,
right.
Okay, yes.
Indeed. So we will see you all on Monday, January 20th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day for the Black Heritage Society's 42nd annual original MLK Jr. Day parade. Man, Mr. Brown, it's always good to see you, man. You come
I'm loving it.
with
I'm
such
loving it,
energy
man. I'm loving it, man.
and history. I love it every time. So. You can come back anytime. It just doesn't have to be once a year for this.
Okay, well,
whatever you guys got.
As I said, we do more than just a parade.
Right, I know.
We do science, technology, engineering, math. We honor the assassination. Where we celebrate and recognize the assassination of Dr. King in April, on April the 4th of every year.
We'll come back so we can talk about whatever you guys got going on for that.
I would love to.
Let's
love
do
to.
it. Sylvester Brown, the executive director of the Black Heritage Society. Thank you so much. So good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston.